Hi everyone. Someone told me that the worst spot for lecture is after lunch. I think 6 p.m. can be worse. But let's start. I have a super interesting topic for you. And today we're going to talk about machine identity. We're going to talk about human identity. The more important thing is that we're going to talk about it, how identity connected to the cloud, how identity connected to AWS, and how important it is to secure all the identities. So this is the agenda for today. As I mentioned before, we're going to talk about all identity. We're going to talk about the machine in the identity. And then we're going to talk about some real use cases. But before we start, let's get some kind of real-life example. These are two real breaches that happen. And both of them represent a problem with identity. The first one, the last pass, it's a problem of human identity. The interesting part of this one is a developer actually hacked, and the key from this developer actually gotten, and they've been able to get and accelerate and get and elevate the secrets, elevate the permissions that they got, and been able to get access to AWS. The second one is also very interesting, but it's related to machine. Different company actually send a script to their customer to fix something, and in the script they had hard-coded credential. This credential found by the hacker that will be able to use this and actually get access to all the secret of the account. In this case, we are talking about the US Treasury, which make me a little bit uncomfortable when I know that the access to all the secret are out there. So this is why we in CyberArk understand that you need to protect all your identity, human and machine. And if you're going to work only and secure human, that's not enough. And if you're going to secure only machine, that's not enough. The only way is to secure both of them. And if you're thinking about when you secure human and ID, and human and machine, if you're using one environment, you can have a better way to build the infrastructure to manage the prioritization of this security level. So let's start to talk about the different type of human and the different type of machine. So human, we have a different human in the organization. We have our classic workforce. Everyone in our organization, they need to access to the cloud. They need to access to other environments. We also have the IT, we have the developers. Developers is a really unique persona in the organization. If you think about your developer, they have access almost to everything. The classiest story that I have with my developer, every time the developer asks me for something, I told him, what do you need? And the classic answer will be, I need root admin. They only think that they need a root admin. But this is not true. And you know what? The hacker knows that. And this is why they're looking for the developer's access. If we go to the machine, of course, we have devices and we have workloads. Workload is every application that runs in the cloud, but not just application, every Lambda function and every script. I want to go back 1 second, and there is one new persona, which is the AI agent. And what's interesting in the AI agent, that it's not just human. It's not just machine. It's actually a mix of human and machine. And I'll give you an example. If I have an AI agent that runs to do something for me, and my manager going to run the same AI agent, the answer should be different. which means when we're talking about AI agent, we need to treat it as a human, also as a machine. And what we're trying to do in CyberArk, we're trying to secure all identity with the right level of privilege. This is what we're trying to do. And we're talking about all identity, human, and machine. So let's talk a little bit about human. This number, for every human in the organization, you have about 82 non-human application workloads and machines. And you know, we ran this study a year ago, and the number was 52, and 42 actually. And next year is going to be about 200, because if you think about it, with the new AI agent, with the growth of the automation, this number going to grow. And the one important thing that I want to tell you about this number, it means that if you're going to manage your non-human identity, if you're going to do it manually, if you're not going to do it with a scan capability, if you're going to do it without automation, you will not be able to do that. I also want to share one more study that we got from one of our partners, GitGuardian. They're actually running a scan in the cloud. And something that got my attention was the fact that they found a lot of secrets. And they ran this scan on public repositories for years. But this is amazing, that 70% of the secrets are still live and never been routed. So let's think about it. Every secret that's used by employee in your organization that left 2 years ago is still there, and it's still the same. No one routed it. And this is why we believe that rotation for every secret is the way to manage everything regarding machines. We need to identify the machine, give them the right secrets, and be able to rotate the secret. So let's talk a little bit about our customers. When we're talking to our customer, what are the biggest problems that they're trying to solve? So they're trying to solve the automation. They want to rotate the application. They want to have a centralized solution for all the workloads that they have everywhere, human, non-human, cloud, on-prem. They want to simplify the workloads. They want to make sure that they create a full environment that manages the privilege from the moment that the access required until the job done by the machine or by the human. And this is what we're doing for our customer. We actually help them to solve all of this. So I want to start and drill down to more specific solution, and we'll start to talk a little bit about the discovery in AWS. And why I want to start to talk about discovery. Because every time that I'm talking to our customer, the first question is, can you help me to find what I need to fix? And this is what we're trying to do. The way that we're doing it is we run a discovery. We run the discovery in AWS, in the cloud. And someone asked me, why do I need to run the discovery in the cloud? Because on average, to a big enterprise, they have about 2,500 accounts, which means they have secrets in every account. So what we want to do is to make sure that we discover all of these secrets. And then we have to remediate the problem. What are the problems that we are finding? As I mentioned before, about 50% of the secrets never been routed. But I can tell you another secret. About 7 to 12% of all the secrets that exist today in every account never been used. Why not disable it? And at the end, what we're doing, we provide an easy way for the developers to continue and consume the secret. So this is, how does it look like? Remember, I told you that we have a scan. We are running a scan on the customer environment. After finding everything, we identify the problem, prioritize them, and help them to remediate that. And this is another new screenshot from our environment. This is the way that we are doing it. And this is a real environment. We can see hundreds of thousands of secrets, and we can compare it between different accounts. And I know that we are in AWS event today, right? But most of you using all the clouds. So this is help you to manage all the secret across all the accounts. And we're talking about CyberArk, and in CyberArk it's not just a secret, it's also the certificate. So we can help you to manage every identity by finding it, scanning, yes, remediate, and make sure that the developers will continue to use it in an easy way. So this is our part, and this is how we are managing secret in the cloud. What I want to do now is to move and talk a little bit about your developers. Your developers that need to go and access the cloud. Actually, I'll start with a real problem that you have. Let's say that there is a bug in production. Your developers need to go and access to production to read the log. They don't have user password. And in most of the cases, it's going to be Friday night. So what you're going to do, you're going to create an account for him, sending the account. You don't have the time to negotiate about the permission, so you will give him access to everything. And then he's going to log in, get the data, and then the access will stay there. And this is what we're trying to solve in CyberArk. So the way that we see the access to the cloud in CyberArk, we see it 3 layers. First of all, we have the standing privilege. I'm Uzi, I can access to the cloud. This is my user. This is all of my privilege. It's always there. It's always available for me. Even if I'm going to be outside or will not work, someone will continue to use it. So this is the worst way to manage the secret. And of course, most of you are already using that, because this is the easiest way to do that. The second layer is actually the just-in-time. I'm in Uzi, I need to go to the cloud. I don't have the access to the cloud. I'm going to get it only when I need it. But in this case, all of my privilege also are available in the cloud all the time. So the access is just in time, but the privilege are there for me, which is not bad. It's not bad. But there is a better way. And the best way is actually the zero standing privilege. The way that we manage the zero standing privilege is the right way to do it. First of all, I'm Uzi, I need to access to the cloud to do some specific role. And in this moment in time, the access will create it for me, and the right privilege will generate it for me. So now when I'm logging to the access, when I'm logging to the cloud, I will be able to do the work that I need to do. And I'll tell you something more interesting. When I'm going to log out, all the privilege are going to disappear. So the next time, let's say I've been hacked, I have a memory problem, I wrote my password, stick it into my computer. Next time that someone will be able to log in my account, he will see nothing, because there will be no privilege attached to this account. And this is the way that we are trying to help our customer. We're trying to help our customer to reach into the zero standing privilege. It requires some planning, but it's doable. And with our automation, we can move the customer from standing access all the way to zero standing privilege. And that's the way that you secure your human identity. That's the way you secure your cloud environment. So let's talk a little bit about the 3 different use cases. The first use case is one of your employees need to go to Salesforce. We're talking about cloud to cloud. So again, what we're doing here, we actually help you to manage the access to your third-party cloud provider and to make sure that we are managing the session and monitor the session. So everything that he is doing, managed, recorded. The second layer is when your developers need to access to a specific EC2 or a specific machine. So for that, we have the dynamic just-in-time access. We just talked about it. And of course, and I think this is the top layer, when your developers or any other user need to access to any cloud service, we're going to manage him with the zero standing privilege. So you can see here we have the different layer based on the requirement of your customers. So this is the way that it's looked in CyberArk. And one very important thing, I'm talking about developers, and I'm talking a lot about developers. If we are not going to do a tool that will be easy for the developers and friendly with the developers, they're not going to use it. And this is why when we're managing our solution, we provide it with API access, with CLI access, with UI access, so everyone in the organization will be able to work on it. The last topic that I want to talk to you today is the new things that happen. It's called dynamic workload, modern workload. The idea here is I want to access to anything. I need to be identified, but there is all the problems that we all know. Who is this workload? Which data? It's the workload in a data center, and I need to access to a cloud. So there is a new technology today. Let's talk a little bit about the problem before I'll tell you about the technology. So these are all of my workloads, and I need to access to Oracle or AWS or Istio, and I'm using a different way. I authenticate with API key, with password. Sometimes I authenticate myself with certificate. And the same if I need to go into the legacy application. I need to retrieve a secret. So you can see here that one workload uses different way to identify and log into a different resources. How do you solve it? So the way that we solve it, we actually use the identification of this workload to be its own password. This is why some call this solution secretless. The idea is we are using here in this case the protocol of SPIFFE, and we have full implementation of SPIFFE. And the idea here that we identify the workload. After identify the workload, we can provide the right access to all the different resources, again, just in time. So this is the new way that, or new solutions that we have in CyberArk, focus on workloads, working with SPIFFE, easy to implement, and help you to secure every workload that's needed. So before I finish, I just want to mention two things. First of all, we do have a new O'Reilly book that can tell you a little bit about how to secure identity, and it's available for you, so you can scan that and get the first and the second chapter for free. We're going to release this book very, very soon. And last but not least, we are in booth number 1235. You can come to the booth and see a demo. I want you to see there how we discover secret, how we discover certificate, how we help you to manage every privilege. If you want to see how to implement the zero trust privilege, we are there for you. So please come to our booth, and we are looking forward for you. Thank you very much.